Good evening and welcome to the Minions of the Zoo Saturday edition. I'm your host and keeper of the Harry channel, and with me tonight are two minions with one on the way. Serenity Star 13 and SkepTok.
Hi, everybody. Serenity's not pregnant. It's just Functional's going to be late.
Functional's going to be late. Yeah.
I would not be here if I was late.
I'm just saying one on the way, you know. Okay. Anyway.
No, I'm just trying to figure out why I can't. I've already run into the first technical snag that people can't see you. So, Serenity, tell us about like anything that you'd like to share.
No. Oh, okay. All right.
You're okay, Scott.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Memorial Day weekend. We're going into stuff. I mean, my mom made, and I'm going to preface this. It's not made of them. It's the letters are short for something. We made frog jam.
Frog jam.
For those who do not know what frog jam is, because you did not grow up country as hell, that is figs, raspberries, oranges, and ginger. And it's a jam.
Oh.
It's all of those together.
So it's not like that Monty Python sketch with the Wizzo quality assortment of chocolates?
Correct.
You are familiar with the one I'm talking about, though.
I know what you're talking about, yes.
Okay.
But yeah, no, it's just a type of jam. There's not a lot of jams that use ginger in them, and especially if you're, it's the kind of jam you want to get.
Depends if you're from Germany or not.
True. I'm mostly
in Germany.
Yeah, well,
German jams and preserves that we used to get when I was a kid. They all had ginger in them. A lot of them had ginger and cinnamon in it.
Well, most of the ones in the Appalachian areas are usually straight fruit with maybe cinnamon in it, but very few of them use ginger. We always use frog jam for if someone gets sick, because the ginger can help with the tum-tum, soaking the orange, and you also get some of the sugar you may need that you normally wouldn't be able, especially when
you're also getting some very nice little chemicals from the raspberries.
Yep.
A raft of different antioxidants and some anti-cancer stuff. Raspberries are really interesting.
What's we usually do is, especially for little kids who don't want to eat so for anybody who doesn't know what the BART diet is for when you're sick, that's bananas, applesauce, rice, and toast. But little kids don't always want to eat that. So having a jam that's a little bit lighter, usually with orange peels in it, because kids love oranges, and ginger to help with settling the stomach. This makes it more likely for them to eat the crackers.
Throw a little sugar on there too.
So this way it just makes them more willing to do it and not be petulant about it because they can't control it because they don't feel good. And it's because no one likes it when you don't feel good, but it just makes it easier. So that's part of the reason why we usually make a whole big batch once all the different types of oranges start rolling in. Raspberries are right now, same thing with figs, depending on where you get them. There's a lot of greenhouses around where we are that grow figs. Well, not around.
Really? They grow them indoors there, really?
Well, no, it's across the state border. They grow figs part of the year round because I live
I just find it very interesting.
We found, I can't remember. Oh, it's the cousin of the lemon, but we found someone and Jews use it in Seder. But it's like that one fruit that they use.
Yeah. I know this. I know.
I can't remember the name. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. But
I can't either.
The place that grows the figs year round also grows that. So they're very specialized for very specific fruits that don't want to work well with other people.
Talking about etrog,
I think it's
citron that they used on Sukkot.
I think
on the week-long holiday of Sukkot. Yes.
Yeah, I believe that's the one it is. But it's just like they specialize in the fruits that like to be petulant. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, it's called an ethrog, or it's also called an esrog, ESROG or ETHROG.
But yeah, that's mostly what's been going on. We've had nothing but storms, but we haven't gotten hit as bad as Ohio or in Kentucky, or I'm sure Texas has gotten hit. We haven't had any tornadoes. We've had tornado watches.
Bummer.
It's West Virginia. We're used to tornado watches. We're always more worried about flooding around here than we are about
Everybody gets tornadoes but me.
Well, don't. Be careful with that one, Harry.
I want to see a tornado.
It's a terrifying experience. I've seen more than a few.
I would like to see one.
But yeah, mostly it's just been rain. One of my mules had to get borrowed by a friend of the family because they're doing the for the roads that are still knocked out for a lot of hurricane and tornado people.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing mule trains to get them supplies. So one of my mules had to be borrowed because he was he's very accustomed to carrying packs.
I love the expression "got borrowed."
I mean, he got borrowed. Like, hey, functional.
Yeah, well, yeah. Sometimes you get borrowed.
Yeah. Well, they were like, they're like, yours is used to, because he's not a fully retired, but he was basically one of the mules that they used to use in the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
And then he got retired, and he somehow found.
Then he got borrowed.
Yeah, he somehow found his way out here, but he's not. And we can't find anything in his medical records that makes it seem like he should have been retired as young as he was, because he was retired at 12, and he shouldn't have been retired that young. But he was retired at 12. There's no injuries or anything like that. He still knows how to behave himself.
If he becomes supernumerary, in other words, there's younger, better stock.
Yeah, it's just
sometimes that happens too.
It's a West Virginia thing. I much rather take the veteran who's a little bit older and a little bit slower over the new young one, but that's me.
Believe me, you don't think I understand that.
But he's used to, and he was used by one of my other cousins when they, because you technically can hike good portions of the Appalachian Trail with donkeys. Oh, he'll kill. He'd smack me. With mules.
Yeah.
You can also do it with goats. We haven't tried goats yet. I don't know if I ever will. But so he's used to the trails. So he's getting borrowed for that, and then he'll be back in a couple days. They're like, he's feisty. I was like, oh God, what did you do? And they were like, what do you mean? I was like, he's not feisty with anybody else. I don't know what you did to him, but you need to stop it. It's like, no, he's like the guy was like, no, he's like, he's feisty with the other mules. I was like, oh, he's fine then. Yeah, he's used to being the pack leader. If you put him behind anybody, he's going to get pissed. So you have to put him in front. He's like, oh, okay. I was like, and don't put him at the end. If you put him at the end, he will just push his way forward.
Yep. If you're not at the front, the view's always the same.
Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much the extent of my exciting life right now is storms, waiting for the old man to come back, and
Frog Jam.
That's about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which functional, I don't know when you came in, but frog stands for figs, raspberries, orange, and ginger. Not actually frogs.
Yeah. But if you have a latex allergy, you should be very careful about eating figs.
Yes.
Because there's a cross sensitivity. The goo that comes out of figs is close enough to latex that some people have latex allergies.
Well, it's the same thing with cashews and poison ivy or any of the poisons. If you have an allergic reaction to poison ivy, sumac, or oak, you most likely also have a sensitivity to cashews and vice versa, which I have, which is fun. So that's the other thing you have to be careful of.
Well, figs are weird, and I'm not going to go off on a long monologue on figs, but other than the fact that the latex thing is that figs, some of them are sort of self-pollinating. Others actually, I think there's some that are wind-pollinated, but many of them are pollinated by wasps.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean there's a dead wasp inside the fig like some people worry about. But they actually require a type of wasp to do the pollination. So having those, you have to be, if you're going to grow figs indoors, you have to be a little careful about which ones you grow. And I'm sure they know that, or they wouldn't have any figs, because it's like either you do it right or there's just no figs.
Yep,
so, yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I'm sure they've got it handled. Hi, Functional.
Uh-oh. Honey, if you're talking, we cannot hear you.
Can't hear you.
Okay.
If you're talking, we can't hear you.
I think
calling functional. Calling functional.
Yeah, that's
I saw
okay.
him mute himself.
Well, oh, there you are.
Oh, there we go.
Technical
for some
excellence.
reason, it switched over to my headset mic, which I don't ever use.
Gotcha.
Oh, yeah.
I just grunted, by the way, in response to hello.
So, say hello to the chat and the world and us. No. Not gonna.
If you know.
I've been having a day. a week, a month, a year, a decade, just
lifetime. Just say lifetime. Just say screw it and go lifetime. Just cut out the middleman.
Well, just say, I love you people, but you're lucky I'm here. That's.
Well, hi JB. At least you're kind enough to show up.
Yeah.
You're awesome.
Yeah.
JB's always awesome.
There's maybe a couple lurkers there. I fucking see you. I see you.
That would be great if in YouTube Studio it would actually show me who the lurkers
I think Twitch, I'm not sure about Rumble, but I think Twitch shows you who the lurkers are. So I don't know why that's not implemented on our side.
Yeah, you have to if you're, or you can if you're a moderator. Yeah. It has the same thing.
Sneaky.
Which my Star Trek what the hell were we just talking about? Twitch channel.
There you go.
Got struck a few too many times, so we moved over to Kick and haven't had any problems.
Oh, nice.
It's so relaxing to just have TNG or DS9 or TOS or something on in the background while I'm trying to get some work done.
Hmm. Well, when I got home today, I decided that I didn't want to be calm. I wanted to get some energy because I've had a hell of a time sleeping ever since the meetings in Ireland where I spent a whole week being up all night. And that just, I'm still trying to get back on schedule from that. But when I got here today, it was like, started playing some music and I said, not Bach, not Holst, gotta go Beethoven, and you need to turn up the stereo. It needs to be loud. I need to feel Beethoven in my bones. So I may have made a bit of a disturbance, but that's okay. I don't share any walls with anybody.
I was cranking Vivaldi the other day. That's my go-to.
Yeah, it was more I wanted to feel, not think necessarily things, so that's why I went Beethoven. It was fun. It was fun.
Beethoven.
I used to, before any kind of big test or something in the morning, play Beethoven's Ninth to kind of get myself motivated. So I have a long history of using that.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Well, I know I'm a nerd. So, Functional, have you ever run across these flat earthers or just sort of people like that who are sort of evangelically stupid?
No.
Well, they're out there.
Honestly,
There are these people that that think that big globe is just a big conspiracy and that the Earth is actually flat and there's a wall of ice that keeps everybody from rolling off the edge or some such nonsense.
Like the turtle thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the turtle thing.
The Dogon mythology is pretty great. Well, there was a video I was watching, and I didn't mean anything by it. I wasn't trying to cause trouble. I just said, how do these people think GPS works? I didn't realize that the flat earthers actually watched the debunking channel and would challenge people who made comments. I didn't realize I was stepping into the line of fire. But I got into this conversation back and forth with some flat earthers trying to give me gotcha questions.
Oh, God.
And I actually feel very pleased with myself because I was extremely nice. I wasn't obnoxious.
Good.
I actually came up with an argument for why GPS requires satellites that doesn't involve me just saying, because I'm an expert and I told you so, or you're stupid or anything like that. They were saying, well, couldn't it just be drones? Couldn't it be drones that just fly over you? That'd be right. How about drones? I'm like, well, you could basically make a GPS with drones, but it wouldn't be very accurate. And they said, well, why not? And so I actually calculated it. If you have drones that are 10 kilometers over your head, essentially, and you can measure the time difference in the signal to 10 decimal places, you only get 6 significant figures because they're so close. And if GPS satellites are about 2,000 kilometers away for a reason, because you need them actually to be distant and spread out. Otherwise, you can't get any accuracy. But I was very pleased with myself. I managed to shut up flat earthers and they stopped talking to me without being insulting.
I'd like to kick them so hard in the groin that they launch into the sky and see the curvature of the Earth for themselves.
Yeah. But I like the fact that I didn't have to, like I said, do an argument from authority or because I said so. I actually just used some simple math to show that if GPS works the way that it does, you have to have satellites that are 2,000 kilometers away. It literally does not. It doesn't give you the same accuracy if you monkey with that distance number. In fact, if the satellites are too close together, your accuracy will even diminish. You need them to be kind of spread out a little bit to get really good numbers. That's how I spent my time arguing with flat earthers. I'm a sad person. It's pretty miserable.
Yeah, sometimes you
That's a
gotta-
really interesting problem.
It is. There's
The more I think about it, I think I could talk with someone for a couple hours about that.
well, there's this thing. I think they call it diminishment of precision, and there's 4 different ways you can diminish the precision in a GPS signal. One of which is the time DOP, and so if you look that up, you'll find a whole bunch of interesting stuff about it. But it's easy because
you've got some feedback loops that probably are probably have something to do with not happening fast enough.
well,
And so you can have too much to do in order because you're trying to be too accurate and end up being less accurate as a result.
Well, I mean, it's obviously complicated, and
Yeah.
because I know
Anyway.
that chat does not want to hear about how
Yeah,
GPS
sorry about
works.
that. Move
I'm
on.
not going to
Quickly.
go into more detail, but it was actually fun to just sort of sit down and like, okay, I can prove this without relying on anybody else. I don't have to like believe anybody else. If I just accept that the speed of light is what it is, I could just figure this out. It was nice to have such a nice little self-contained argument with somebody. Didn't have to use AI or anything.
No, now you've got me thinking.
I'll send you some references after the show.
I would love to look into that. Anyway, let's move
Well,
on.
I mean,
like
you
said.
and I have both done GIS stuff, so it's not like we don't know about these things.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Speaking of which, hi Scap.
How you doing, bud?
I'm okay, except for my sleep cycles are completely screwed up. Still
Yeah.
thinking about buying a new motorcycle. Still thinking about all sorts of things.
You got your eye on anything in particular?
I do. And I I should probably
something or a good new something.
I'm actually thinking about getting something that's considered to be extremely boring. Actually, people say it is one of the most boring motorcycles you can get. The engine is 13 years old. The design is 13 years old. It gets 60 to 70 miles to the gallon. It can basically do pretty much anything. And it is a Honda NC750X 2025 edition. Because I was thinking I might get one of those. Sorry?
Is that going to be a big enough engine to suit you?
I would rather have it has so much torque that the kinds of speeds that you do when you're like commuting, it just doesn't matter about the horsepower. It's a torque monster.
Yeah, that's the thing. Can it get you going?
Torque is great. People always think it's about horsepower, but honestly, if you're not trying to go 150 miles an hour, torque is really where it's at. That's why the electric bikes are so nice.
Yeah.
But I like the fact that it's like incredibly durable, easy to fix. Like a lot of things that you normally would have to pay somebody else to do are easy to do on this bike. Or if you do pay somebody else to do it, it'll cost you a lot less, like changing the clearance on the valves.
Yeah.
That's an every 16,000 miles, give somebody $1,000 kind of thing. Well, on this bike, you could just do it yourself really easily. So I like kind of like the truck,
Big selling point.
with the $20,000 truck that doesn't have a lot of frills. It's sort of the same idea, except in motorcycle form.
See, that's the thing people don't understand about when you decide to be a motorcycle rider. If you're going to be a true motorcyclist, in my opinion, you have to know how to fix your bike.
You should at least wrench on the parts you're able to wrench on.
Yes, absolutely. Wrench as much as you can. Absolutely. That's kind of what
If you can't change the chain yourself, well, I don't
shouldn't
know.
be on it. You shouldn't be on it. I'll say it for you. You shouldn't be on the road.
I think people should just do stuff, honestly. I like somebody who's not good at photography, if they have a camera, I don't criticize them. I just tell them to get out more and keep practicing. Just try to do better. Just try to do better. The best camera for you is the one that you use. Don't worry about it being perfect. There are enough excuses in this world not to do something. You can always find an excuse not to do something.
That's true.
It's true in the kitchen, functional. Like, you have to be a certain amount of fearless in the kitchen or you'll just never make anything. Oh, I can't do that. I'm not even going to try. And then you just end up not.
Learn.
Yeah, that's how you learn, is by doing stuff and making mistakes. It's okay to make mistakes.
I will never try that. Never.
Yeah. Oh, souffles aren't so bad. You just have to
I
make a
tried
little
one
paper
and it
collar.
didn't come out. That's it.
There's a trick to it, and you have to sort of do the trick.
Anyway, tell us how to make a souffle functional.
Eggs.
Egg power. It's all egg power and faith.
Multiplier. Yeah. Copper
Eggs
bowl.
and elbow grease.
Yeah. You gotta
Oh,
Either
whip
the
it.
souffle will rise or it won't. And there's not a damn thing you can do about it.
So I don't think we have a lot of people, but would you say hi to the people we have?
Absolutely.
We got JB. I said hi to JB, but you can say hi to him too.
JB, how you doing, bud? Thanks for coming out and enjoying our show. We love to have everybody who wants a good time on a Saturday night to come out and listen to us rave on. And let's see if anybody else. Raymond Lewis is here. JB is here, and
Nothing to see is here.
I'm Raymond Lewis.
Yep, nothing's here. Nice to see everybody, even you. Nothing to see.
Yeah.
JB says, "Do good, Skep." Thank you, bud.
Oh, so let's see. I'm going to switch things over here. Let's see. We have to share things with everybody. First, I have to share with you guys. The Zoom thing
should be
works
pretty
really
cool,
well
right?
in some ways, but there's a few rough edges that I wish were slightly less rough.
And a wild Sora appears in chat.
Hi, Sora. Okay, and then we have to do... So I want to do a few... we've got some follow-ups and we've got some Memorial Day stuff to do, so I think we should probably do those first. All right, so we'll do that. Okay, so now everybody can see the browser, and you can see the browser, right? I'm sharing it with Zoom.
I can see your germination.
Okay.
I can see you on the screen.
Well, I was
you're
thinking
showing
about
us.
talking about figs, and I decided, nah, you guys don't want to hear more about figs. Let's talk about GPS calculations. That's more fun.
There it is.
Okay, so this here,
We'll see if CBS Sports gets us.
I think we'll be okay.
I was here momentarily for the playing of taps at the Dallas National Cemetery.
So it says just beyond the wall is Dallas National Cemetery. So every time they do a game at 7 o'clock, they play taps, and the whole, basically facing toward the cemetery, and then the whole crowd becomes quiet. Final resting place of over 60,000 veterans and their families every day at 7 p.m.
Which one is this? Is this the big Dallas Veteran Cemetery?
Yeah.
That's actually where someday my
I think too many people don't even bother to do the lip service stuff for the veterans. Good on
Well,
these people, really.
It's quiet. You can hear a pin drop, and those stands are not empty.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, that's Dallas.
Yeah,
Well,
That's
still,
not
it's
Seattle.
like
It's not Seattle.
yeah.
Yeah.
So the people. So these are the people that get it. The people in Texas. How about the people that don't get it? Who
Oh,
doesn't
Lord.
get it the most? How about NPR?
oh Jesus.
Okay, so electric grills are a climate-friendly option to fossil fuel grills, and they put this out just in time for for Memorial Day. One of the biggest grilling days of the year. These people really need to just ease up on the no propane grill thing, because Skep, I know
Yes.
you know this calculation that I'm talking about while we're doing math in our heads here. 120 volts, 15 amps.
Okay,
And-
so you're talking about 1,500 times 0.2 again, like
Yeah.
1,700 watts of power.
Yeah, so you convert, and technically you really, if it's a 15 amp socket, you really shouldn't be pulling more than 12 amps for long term.
Better not be
But,
15
you know,
amps.
If you convert that to heat, what you basically get is 4,000-ish BTUs.
Okay.
Versus like a decent propane grill that's got 4 burners on it. So you've got 4 different
Oh,
zones. Each of those burners
incomparable.
is at least 10,000 BTUs.
Incomparable.
That whole grill has
Difference.
half the heat of one burner
Of
on a
one
decent
burner.
grill.
That's
Yeah,
correct.
but when you're cooking giant mushroom strips like that, I mean, it doesn't really matter. Vegans don't eat real food anyway.
They're not even grilling. They're not even driving off the water fast enough. They're mostly steaming them.
Where the hell do they think the power comes from?
Uh,
Mostly coal-fired power plants.
I like the
Okay.
fact that he's got his glass of white wine sitting to the side. You know,
He's
I
got
could
his glass of wine, and he's got his woman who directs every single thing that he does during his waking life.
Yeah.
Telling him exactly how to do everything there. That's the key to a good marriage.
and they're mixed raced, which is very important for NPR. And he
If
might
you're gonna
have
a
low.
white guy. You
Yeah.
can't have a white wife.
Yeah, but he's got a beard and stuff, so we're not worried about his testosterone. But it's all just
No,
so
that's
much
good.
cliche-ridden bullshit. No, electric grills are not good. They
There's
don't
nothing
work
good about
well.
them.
If
There's
may-
nothing good about these.
you could now functional, you know what I'm talking about, like electric pizza ovens and stuff. You wire those things up for many amps at more volts than 120. Those are like probably 240 or at least 208, maybe even 3-phase, for God's sakes. I don't even know.
Yeah.
But it's like, if you want to do something with electric, you can't just plug it into an outlet in an American house. You just don't get the heat.
Yeah.
There's no
You
there
don't have-
there.
There's no electromotive force in 120 volts. There's just not enough. There's not enough oomph.
Yeah, if
Can't
they
shoot
start
it fast enough.
if they start coming up with things where you can plug it into the power for your electric dryer, you know, that'd be fine.
That'd be cool.
Now we're cooking. That
Yeah.
gets you equal to one of those burners on the gas grill.
Oh, that's true.
Should be a little bit
220,
better.
and even if you hooked it directly to the mains, it comes in at 440. You know, that's half a propane grill.
Yeah.
With a really frightening amount of voltage.
Yeah, so don't listen to NPR because all you're going to do is make people who show up for your picnic sad if you use an electric grill. If all you're doing is just lightly warming up and adding a bit of color to some marinated eggplant, fine. But if you actually want to cook steaks and things like that, you need like charcoal or wood or gas. Taste the food, not
need-
the fuel.
Did they
You need
say
more
what this
power.
guy was cooking? Did they?
Does it matter?
I just want to
That's
know
like
if those.
eggplant
If
or mushroom or something.
Yeah,
That looks like bacon. What are you talking about?
doesn't look like bacon to me.
no,
that looks like
doesn't look
rasher.
bacon.
That looks like samgyeopsal cuts. So it looks like it's
No, that's like
No, it looks
marinated.
like long marinated tenderloin or something, like tenderloin cut long ways.
Maybe
or
it's some
something
kind
weird.
of farmed, eco-farmed fish.
oh
I don't
God,
know.
You all are
God.
judgmental as hell.
Hey, I'm just
Look
doing
at them. They scream vegan.
I'm just doing the
Yeah.
math. I'm just telling you there's
Functional's
not
not
enough
wrong.
there's not enough there to grill properly with an outlet in an American home.
I just those vegan log things that he's putting on.
Oh, but what do you think of that? Maybe that
God.
thing down toward the bottom of the screen.
Yeah.
Is that like a field roast? Maybe.
No,
That's-
it's
that
probably
could
like
be a
zucchini or
giant bug.
eggplant.
It could be a
That's
giant
probably
bug
zucchini or
from
eggplant.
Africa.
Oh Jesus in heaven!
Some kind of tempeh Mr. Potato Head.
Giant wasp.
Lord,
Giant
all
wasp,
of
exactly.
you.
It's called a wasp.
Jeez.
It's the bugs.
not a-
bigots.
I'm not a fan of NPR, but
It's sea
goddamn,
cucumber. No, I'm just feeling like I'm just not feeling
Feeling
charitable.
sassy.
Crust.
You're feeling
No.
sassy, is what you are. You Harry's
No, I
sassy.
I
No,
can
it's-
definitely
it's-
tell whatever is on it, or whatever it is, it's got a pistachio crust.
And it's sunfish veal.
Let's try this here. Oh, I have a tool here. Let me see.
Young succulent sunfish.
But it doesn't say what they're cooking.
Farm
Yeah,
raised.
it's not going to
Kinda
tell you.
irrelevant.
I do see corn in the background, though. I'm all for that.
Yeah, there's nothing better than fresh corn.
Grilled,
You grill
grilled
that?
corn is
Oh.
the best.
Grilled fresh sweet corn is amazing.
That's
Very-
actually what I had for supper tonight was grilled ribeye
Nice.
and grilled corn. That's why I'm so sleepy.
We had flank steak and rosemary and thyme and butter coated roasted potatoes. Are you all right? Stop it, Harry.
Well, yeah, because it's Memorial Day weekend. Happy Memorial Day, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
You
you,
do?
face.
Harry.
Yeah.
Move on.
As far
All
as
right, moving
holidays
on.
go, Skep, those are the types of holidays that I actually celebrate and like.
God, I'm tired. Okay.
You're so tired, you're sassy.
Yeah. Yeah.
We got sassy Harry tonight.
Okay, do you want to have another fun one?
Lauren.
Well, I mean, it's
Yes,
fun
absolutely.
in that we like to watch other people fail.
There you go.
Okay, aftermath. Okay, let's see. Let's get rid of the annotation thing.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Oh,
Aftermath
God.
of disastrous North Korean frigate launch seen in satellite image updated.
As it should be.
Yeah.
Do you want to know
Ooh.
what happened here? By the way, I looked into this.
Didn't the supports give way and it just leaned?
Well, yeah. First of all,
All right, Skep.
First-
Everyone take a deep breath. Let Skep go. Here we go.
all right.
Deep
This
dive.
was a 5,000 ton vessel.
Mm-hmm.
You see that side launch arrangement? That's called a non-longitudinal launch.
That's
And
where
you
they do it
can-
the full
listen to
sideways
me,
out.
Listen to me. You can do that to a tonnage up to 2,500 tons safely. Okay.
Mhm.
I'm just telling you stuff. This is truths from the shipyard. Okay. This ship was 5,000 tons and they decided to launch it that way anyway. And they found out why that truth exists, why nobody else in the world launches a ship that big sideways. It's insane. It's absolutely crazy that this happened. And it evidently happened because they didn't have enough money to construct and erect a longitudinal launch. They didn't have any MRV space. They didn't any of that, weird thing where the you put the ship on a cradle and it comes out of the water
Mhm.
and they work on the hull. They have none of those facilities there. They basically have a concrete pier and a bunch of a cradle that they built to construct this to assemble the ship in. It wasn't even assembled by North Korean workers. It was Russian workers who put this thing together and some Chinese folks, but the Chinese were like laborers. But the technical people were Russian.
Actually.
Yep.
Well, it's like, so I'm gonna go little conspiracy theory. I feel like they knew the ship didn't actually work, so they intentionally screwed it up so this way their boat would fail. This way they could hide the money.
Yeah, I don't. I sort of don't think that happened because, as I understand it, within 15 minutes of this occurring, factory manager had been arrested and taken away, and he's not been seen again. For
Oh, he's
detention
dead.
For
He's
he wishes he was dead.
what's just its thing like what you talking about, Scap. It's like if it was done by like the overall planning was done by Russians, it's like they have a
Well, no,
navy
not
that-
that. So here's the thing: the Russians built the ship. They had nothing to do with the launch. They skedaddled. They beat feet.
smart.
And the Koreans said, "Okay, time to launch it. Let's go. Got this." And they did, and they found out what happens when you try and do that. It doesn't all go at the same time because it's too goddamn heavy.
The Russians are just fast packing onto a plane, going go 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 go.
Well, yeah,
Get this out of here.
Of course, they were paid in North Korean money, so.
Which means it's nothing. Well, I mean, it's
Actually, I'm
probably
sure
worth
they
about as
insisted
safe
on-
as
No,
Russian.
those guys
Russian.
are paid by Russian.
Yeah, but the Russian ruble ain't nothing either.
Well,
It's better than,
compared
Not
to
by
North
much.
Korean script.
yeah, compared to DPRK funny money, it's, yeah.
Yeah.
So, some people have some explaining to do. Little Rocket Man was not particularly happy about this, as you can imagine.
Oh, no.
Kim Jong-un's fury inducing crippled a botch. How do I even say that? Kim Jong-un's fury inducing crippled in botched sideways launch.
Fury inducing.
Fury inducing.
A fury inducing. God, I'm tired.
Man, you're tired.
Guys, fury inducing. No, but fury inducing crippled is not a valid sentence. That's the problem. It's making my brain hurt because it's so poorly written.
Crippled.
Learn to punctuate, you people.
That
In
never
botched
happened.
sideways launch destroyer spotted today under blue tarps. God. Wonder why
So
tarps
anyway, here-
also
so
have a
here's the
spillway.
really fun thing. That picture right there. Stay right on that.
Got it.
Look very carefully, just about midship on the keel side, which is going to be the left side of the picture. So as you look up the ship, move the cursor up a little bit and move it to the keel side. Down, 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 right there. Up
That
a little
little
bit
boat?
and to the left, up and to the left. See that?
That's what she said.
That is, listen, that's where the keel's been compromised. You can see it in that when it came off, that the whole ship shifted and one part shifted faster than the other. And what happens is it bends the keel. That ship is not fixable. It is scrap metal.
Yeah.
That is 100% scrap metal. If you try and fix that ship the first time it sails, it'll break in half. In any kind of sea.
Well, I mean, if you want the top part to stay upright,
Yeah.
that broken keel is going to be an issue.
Yeah. So
Also, they would really need a dock where they could work on it that isn't this one. They need the dock that they should have used to build it.
they need a true MRV type setup that they could actually get that thing up out of the water.
Okay, so here's a stupid question. If they're using all these Russian people to build this thing anyway, why not just build it in a Russian shipyard and then have it sent to North Korea instead of trying to build it in North Korea and have it all go sideways?
Because very important, Kim Jong-un, to build this in North Korea and show that even though it was really being built by Russians and Chinese.
It's also probably, to add to that, it's probably also the fact that they may not have the money for the fuel to get it there.
Hmm.
Yeah,
no,
I think
do
they
a
would
lot of
have
outside
that.
trade.
That's not an
They
that's
do a
not-
lot of
that's
outside
not
trade.
that's not a lot of money.
It's
even for
funny
them.
because their number one import is hair.
Mm-hmm.
What did you say?
Their number one import in North Korea is hair.
Hair, Hair?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. For a second, I thought you said
Processed and
air.
clean.
I was like, oh, okay.
It's about 160 billion if memory serves, and their next highest is like fertilizer or something at like 90 billion ish.
You think with all the dead bodies, they'd be able to do.
Why do they?
No comment.
Okay, why are they importing hair?
Probably
Yes.
because I think they're where the wigs are made that China uses because it's cheap labor.
Oh, so it's just an input to a process. It's not
Yeah,
an. It's
yeah,
not.
it's
It's not a
like a
consumer
manufacturer.
end good.
Yeah, it's like pig iron. Okay, gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Loving wife, kids, family.
I'm making an assumption. I am not.
Come
quoting
quickly,
anything.
Dad brought home some hair from work.
we shall
We're
we shall
gonna eat
have
good tonight.
yeah.
That's right. Oh, Papa.
Do you think the North Korean dock workers here like misinterpreted the name of the vessel, the destroyer?
Well, we have to make fun of
Destroy it.
we have to make fun of Mexico because you're right. Maybe they didn't understand what destroyer meant.
What did the dumb bitch do this time?
Well, Mexican Navy training ship hits Brooklyn Bridge.
Oh yeah, that. Good lord.
Yeah.
The captain is claiming they lost power.
But when you run
Allegedly.
into something that's not moving in a large ship, it's always important to claim that you lost power and it's not your fault. I
Well, there were
mean,
people up on the masts too, which was just terrifying.
yeah.
The tug also wasn't under power because it was being tugged.
Well, the ship is supposed to be able to move on its own. The tug was just supposed
That's
to
a
be
sail
there
ship.
in case.
But it was being tugged, but it wasn't actually being tugged. And then somebody on the ship steered it in a bad position so that the tug couldn't get back into position to start tugging it again or something like that. I know that there's a lot of other things that were going on.
One
as
thing
well.
I noticed about as far as the Mexican seamanship was that when that thing hit the bridge,
It folded like balsa.
the anchor had not been deployed. They hadn't let go of their anchor. That's like seamanship 101.
Well, if you're
Okay.
drifting,
Getting out
you
of
should
control.
stop drifting. But the
Yes,
anchor, you mean?
you want to use the anchor to stop the ship if you're drifting out of control. It's a technique. It's taught like first day
especially in a
in
busy
Navy.
waterway like
Your
that.
first day of Navy, you learn this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anchor good for stop.
Well, I was about to say first day of Navy that is British Isles, Canada, America centric. God knows what the Mexicans learned.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be an ass. I'm just being truthful. God
Actually,
knows what they
in
learned.
truth, the Mexicans have a really good green water Navy.
That's good, at least.
They're
And it mostly wasn't their fault.
surprisingly good green water Navy.
Well, whoever taught that captain
no
didn't.
blue water Navy at all.
Except they're going places with their Navy, aren't they? Where were they heading? It was like Finland or something. I mean, I'm trying to remember. It's been almost a week since this happened. So they were just stopping off in New York on the way to somewhere
like
else.
A goodwill tour.
Yeah. Yeah, I forgot where it was because it's been. But yeah, they're getting in their little boat and heading out to sea, and why the hell not? It is unfortunate that the 2 people died in this accident. I don't mean to make light of that, but I didn't even know Mexico had a Navy until this story came across. And then you go, well, of course they have a Navy. That's just stupid, Harry.
But seriously, you can on those ships. It's a one move thing to let the anchor windlass go. And you have an emergency release. That's what it's for. I don't get that.
Yeah. Well, it's like on the motorcycle. There's a switch that just kills the engine. And that's the first thing they teach you how to use. It's like before you do anything else, before you like put your feet on the ground and walk, and before you play with the friction zone on the clutch and stuff, there's a button over here. And if things start to go poorly, you hit that button. That's the thing you do. That is the first thing they teach you is how to turn it off in an emergency.
Yep.
Well, the Mexicans are claiming that it was done by an American pilot because there's supposed to be for the harbors like that. There's supposed to be special pilots to take care. So
did they have a pilot aboard?
That's what they're claiming. Mexico Navy chief said has the pilot manning the training ship was crashed in the Brooklyn Bridge on Saturday was controlled by New York authorities.
Uh-oh.
The propeller on ship was going the wrong way. And like I said, the tug was trying to get back into position to tug it because it wasn't fastened or something like that. So many levels of stupid here. Like you said, I mean, at the first sign of trouble with the tug, they probably should have just dropped anchor and sat there because it's a busy waterway.
Well, if there was a pilot aboard, it was his responsibility to tell people what to do. And if the Mexican guys did not execute the orders appropriately, then I suppose it could be the Mexican ship's fault. But
you know what? That's a great point. If they had a master aboard, a pilot aboard who was taking them just down the river, he's the master of the ship. It will be his responsibility.
His ass.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know that gunsmith, or basically the arms master for the movie Rust? I think she's just starting to get out of jail now. For the movie with Baldwin, where the shooting took place. Yeah, she's just getting out of jail.
What was her name?
I don't know.
Do you remember her name?
Tommy McFilthy Hippie.
Yeah.
She was just kind of a...
She's just kind of like one of those
creature,
alt-looking, septum-piercing types, you know.
Right.
Yeah, but she's finally... it doesn't seem like it was that long ago, but she wasn't really on the hook for...
Hannah Gutierrez Reed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's her. She was released from prison in New Mexico on May 23rd, 2025. So that was yesterday. She was serving an 18-month sentence for involuntary manslaughter in the death of cinematographer Helena Hutchins, who was killed in an accident.
Well, if somebody gets in trouble for this, hopefully they will be in jail longer than the 18 months that Hannah Gutierrez, whatever, was in there for. All right, so
because as someone who's been in film as much as I have, and I've been typecast as police or military, you know, I have that look, you know, so I play FBI or a beat cop or something. The prop master is completely and utterly in charge of these weapons, and people all the time would be playing with the weapons and whatever. It's I know you're not supposed to because of things like that, but ultimately it is, and to get 18 months is kind of really a slap on the wrist.
Well, it's a woman, so you're not going to give her a lot of time.
Yeah. She's important to society. It's important that, especially women in film, because there aren't enough of those.
She's a woman of color. Hannah
No.
Gutierrez.
No, she isn't.
Yes.
In
Hannah
name only.
Gutierrez Reed. What? No, do not deny her heritage and her suffering.
And besides, it would be Colores, I think, if you were going to go with that. So,
That's stupid.
Harvard learned it has an authentic Magna Carta. In 1946, it paid less than $28 for it.
Way to go, Harvard.
Yeah,
That
I'd
is
say that garage
cool.
sale find paid off.
I'm sure the Brits are pissed.
I don't know how many copies of the Magna Carta were made. Obviously, like the U.S. Constitution, there are several of them. I don't know how many copies of it were made, but a copy of the 1300 version of the Magna Carta on display at the Harvard Law School, $28. That, I mean, because essentially it's priceless.
There are 4 original copies of Magna Carta of 1215 that still exist, along with several versions reissued by later monarchs. 2 of the 1215 originals are housed at the British Library, while the others are at Salisbury Cathedral and Lincoln Castle. Additionally, 4 original Inspectimus copies from 1297 also exist, with one being displayed in the Australian Parliament.
And only 7 of the year 1300 version still exist.
So it says here, it was labeled as a 1327 copy of the Magna Carta, somewhat rubbed and damp stained, according to the archive's description.
Who cares?
But Carpenter knew almost immediately when he opened the document that it wasn't as advertised. What do I see before my eyes? For all the world, it seems to me to be an original 1300 Magna Carta. Oh my God, this isn't known at all. Yeah. Yeah, so the simulation threw something good at us this time. I like this story. And also, for those of us who don't like throwing things away, see? Never throw anything away. Become a hoarder. Don't be shy about it.
Damn
Everybody,
right.
yeah. Just keep everything forever, all the time.
When they purchased it, it was $27.50. In today's money, it's $450.
And what's today's value?
Oh, well, God, that I don't know.
I don't think it has. I think
Millions.
it's literally priceless. You can't put a price on it.
I think you could.
Well,
Be like, hey, Elon, I've got an original Magna Carta from 1326.
If it's for sale, the market will put a price on it.
Yeah, but it's a
but
historical document, and I don't know if you can just sell something like this.
The last one that sold, the 1297 Magna Carta that sold at auction in New York in 2007 fetched $21 million.
Yeah,
and that was at that time's money.
Yeah.
So,
like I said, tens of
that
millions.
that was a 1297 one.
Yep,
1297.
In case anyone at Harvard is listening, I've totally got an original Magna Carta that I'd be willing to let go for $17 million. So, call me.
So did you guys hear about the stray dog that fended off a bunch of coyotes?
Yes.
Yeah, oh, yeah. He's a good boy.
Oh, he's a good boy.
Well, he is a good boy, but not only that, but he's been adopted now.
Yay!
So there he is fending off 5 coyotes. What a good boy.
And he's
yeah, they're trying to get his back.
He's doing fine, and he's not like super young. What a good boy.
He's fought him before.
So stray dog who fended off coyotes finds forever home.
Oh, maybe some shepherd in there?
Yeah, he's most likely lab and shepherd because he's got the build of a German
That's a
shepherd.
very, very common mix, yeah.
Yeah, well, German shepherd tail with a Labrador body, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you can also tell in the ankles, in the paws.
Yeah, and also
very
the shoulders.
shepherd.
The shoulders.
Longer, elongated snout.
Yeah.
But he was...
The ears are... Go ahead, sorry.
What I was going to say, he was trying to plant his butt so they couldn't get to his hamstrings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which means he's fought them before. That's not the first time he's fought coyotes off. Because only dogs who fought against coyotes before or have watched other dogs do it know to do that. Most other ones start to spin, or they try to chase, or they try to run, opening their back to them. And that's going to get a dog killed if they're not trained right or learned from another dog properly.
But a dog that is trained like a big dog, I was reading about, I believe it was a Rhodesian Ridgeback, went after a pack of coyotes, killed the 5 that tried to ambush it, and then tracked the other 3 for 2 days, killing all 3 of them before coming home.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Wow.
Rhodesian Ridgebacks are really good for that. Pyrenees will not usually track them, but they will kill them.
Yep.
The one I love, which we will never be able to probably get the type of dog I want because they're going to be expensive, is God. It's East Asian, the East Asian Shepherd, I think is what it's called. I gotta look it up. That's the one I want to deal with the coyotes. But right now we just have nothing but mutts.
Get your temple dog.
I don't want that much fur
Mm.
because it can cause problems, especially with all the other fucking dogs. Who are you?
dog
Central. Yeah, they are really good. Central Asian Shepherd. That's what it's called. Central Asian Shepherd.
Oh, yeah, I know that.
I love those dogs,
Yeah.
but they're massive and they're expensive.
We all love dogs. I love
He's got
dogs.
such a beautiful build too.
But it's time
a
to move
shame to
on,
see him
isn't it,
so
Harry?
emaciated.
It is. It is.
He has a good home now. So he'll be well fed.
I mean, I've seen a lot of dog videos this week. I mean, there was this one here.
Yeah.
Just,
Oh, that one.
I taught my dog how to play fetch by herself, and this is how it went.
That's too close to that road, though. That is way too close to that road.
Look how excited the dog is.
Come on.
And then it fires off the tennis ball, and he can just put it in there himself or herself. God, that would be a formula for a really tired dog.
That's the point. That's a Labrador. You got to tire those little bastards out.
How to make a dog tired. Well, speaking of labs, I also saw this, which I thought was kind of cute.
Emmy, you haven't seen Linda Rose in 4 weeks.
This is Emmy the
ready to
lab.
welcome her back from vacation? Go see Linda Rose.
So the neighbors have this dog, and they put in a doorbell for this dog, so the dog can ring the doorbell itself. There we go. So it's got a doorbell for the dog, so she can just come visit whenever she wants to. I think this is a genius idea. So I've seen a lot of.
You could just put a dog door in the front door.
Well, you end up with coyotes in the house, but yeah,
Possums.
neighbors.
I'm amazed there hasn't been an attack in the house of a coyote attacking somebody, especially in California. I'm really amazed. It's going to happen, but it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah. So there's only one more thing with dogs. I figure I can just get all the dog palate cleansers out of the way.
Oh, this, yeah.
Yes, I just saw this.
I love this so much.
This is what happens when men really get into their hobbies. We're pretty great.
Me. This could be me.
That's a little Claire de Lune, by the way, for anybody.
I love when Harry squeaks.
What did I squeak?
You squeak.
You squeak.
No, I think that's my desk that squeaks.
No, you wheeze squeaked. That's kind of that wheeze squeak that guys can do.
Oh, good. I'm not aware of what I do. I don't know my own power. Okay. So,
yeah, you are.
So you guys have obviously seen a bunch of celebrities and rich people getting weirdly skinny on Ozempic, right? So this is a topic of conversation like, holy cow, look at what happened to this person. They look like they went to like a concentration camp or something, and they come back and
some of
it's
them
like,
are getting too skinny.
And they're losing bone mass. I mean, allegedly. Yep. Allegedly, they're losing quotes. Bone mass, and they're certainly losing muscle mass because they're starving themselves to death on this stuff. Yeah. It's a really good diabetes drug. But,
and then it got hijacked.
And it's been hijacked for this. But as you might imagine, this has not been particularly good for Weight Watchers in terms of their business model. Oh, shut up. So Weight Watchers was declaring bankruptcy. They're not doing particularly well, and they've decided, no, I think instead of going out of business, we're going to actually sort of collaborate with the Ozempic thing. So now they're sort of hand in hand with the Ozempic culture. So Weight Watchers scraps business model to team up with anti-obesity drug providers. Yep.
Holy shit.
Well, like Noom does it. There's a whole one that just does like... And the thing is, it's like gastric bypass. If it was done in tandem with learning good skills, I would be okay with it.
But
it's
just get
not.
bad again. They
Yeah,
just get fat again.
Yep.
and it's worse.
So in the UK, they have paired up with CheckUp, CHEQUP, a provider of GLP-1 weight loss medications and accompanying clinical support and health coaching. Because before now, it's all been about dieting. No medical interventions. That was not Weight Watchers' thing. Just count your points and get skinny. That was the goal.
Yep.
And now there's like, no, if we want to stay in business, we just need to recognize that people who have money are going to want to give it to buy these drugs.
They want to go the lowest effort way to, the easiest path of least resistance to losing weight.
Well, if people are heavy and they're unhappy about being heavy, they are a great community to sell stuff to. I do have a vintage ad here just to show what it was like in the 80s.
Thinking about getting in shape is
1993
the next
Easy
step
Step
is easy.
exercise machine.
Easy Step. Now you can enjoy the benefits of stair climbing in the comfort of your own
See?
home. Step by step,
That's all you got to do. You just get on this little cheap piece of crap, and then you just do this, and then the pounds just fall off, right?
weight aerobically as you firm and shape buttocks, thighs, and calves. The free step-in system adds an upper body workout.
But there were infomercials for all of these things. Didn't even Chuck Norris shill an exercise machine at one point?
Oh, they all did.
And I think he had Christy Brinkley doing the demonstration for him.
Probably. Sounds about right. I think it was one of the blonde ones. Well, I mean, there was the most famous Suzanne, like functionals would say Suzanne Summers.
Thigh Master.
Yep.
Oh yeah, Thigh Master.
Just squeeze your thigh. Squeeze them.
Yeah. They always had these things, but all of this stuff involved some amount of work on your part. The things in the past. You had to put in some amount of work. They were going to help you achieve your dream of having the perfect body. Because realistically, most people do not look like the models in this commercial. Right?
Oh yeah. Well, it's
Fair
one of
point.
those
Yeah.
things is like the hardest part is there are people where it's like Mindy Kaling's the one I can think of the most. It's like, honey, you are not built to be that skinny. You do not look good that skinny. You do not. There's some people who look really good skinny. There's some people who do not look really good skinny. It's amazing watching also some of the singers who were always talked about, oh, I'm happy being the size I am. And now like Meghan Trainor's gotten caught. Those who do not know, she's the one who sang about All About That Bass.
Yeah.
And she's now on GLP. Kelly Clarkson talked about, oh yeah, no, I'm happy at my size. She's no longer that size anymore. It's one of those things where it's kind of like, it's okay to want to change yourself within reason, but it's taking, as Skep pointed out, it's taking the too easy route out because you don't learn dedication to it. You don't learn the tools that you need to keep it where it needs to be. And we're just going to have like, because I remember the early 2000s, late 90s, after the gastric bypass and the gastric sleeve thing happened, how you just had people either popping their stitches or they were literally, the food was coming back up because they continued to eat the same way because they never actually changed their lifestyle.
Right.
And the same thing's going to happen here. People are still going to eat more junk than they should. They're not going to up their fiber intake because fiber can help with that immensely with staying and feeling full. Like
Absolutely.
it's what the people who talk about food noise, which as someone who has food noise in their head, I understand, but
Drink 3 tall glasses of water.
Wait, hold on.
Well,
What is okay? There's a term that I just heard for the first time. What is food noise?
food noise is where you get an idea in your head to eat something and it will not go away.
Ah, okay.
It just stays there and you keep imagining it. You keep flashing back to it. Like it just won't go away. It stays there, but I just kind of sit there and go, I can't do that right now. Calm the fuck down.
I can just replace it with a different noise.
Well,
Yeah,
it's not that
exactly.
easy.
I just changed the channel.
I just changed the channel, yeah.
There's some people who clinically have gotten proven that they can't. Like they haven't learned the tools to do it. So that takes away. They found that Ozempic and GLP-1s actually help with that because it takes away part of that. But at least for me, the way I found to fix that was I just consume more fiber. Because part of what's causing that is that you feel a little bit of hunger. not an overwhelming amount, but a little bit, and then it kicks the food noise, basically presses the food noise button, and then it goes. But if you can stay satiated longer, it can take away that proclivity, I guess is the best way to put it. But they just don't want to up their fiber. They don't want to do anything.
Yeah. Or you can just take AIDS candy.
Speed.
Yeah. They're claiming it's not speed, but it's definitely speed.
It's speed.
Yeah. I think it was phenylpropanolamine, Skep. Or was it? No. I think originally it was, what was it? Like ephedrine sulfate or something. And then they moved to phenylpropanolamine, and then they realized all of these things were killing people and you should stop it.
Well, yeah. Those were the decongestants that have an amine group that is similar to an amphetamine. It's kind of a cheap amphetamine of its own. It just doesn't have a lot of the amphetamine characteristic. Yeah, it has some mild amphetamine characteristics.
Yeah,
It's
the active
very
ingredient.
similar.
The active ingredient originally was benzocaine.
No, it wasn't. Not benzocaine. No, it wasn't. I know.
Well, maybe no.
I know that chemical, and maybe Grok coughed that up.
Well, they reformulated it at one point. I could imagine them trying to make your stomach lining numb so you wouldn't be hungry, I suppose. So I'm not 100% sure I would dismiss what Serenity's saying too quickly.
Well, wait. Okay. That's what my point is that's an anesthetic.
Yeah.
They can't do that. I mean, that would be disastrous.
Yeah, well, I mean, they just went from one disastrous formulation to another.
Shit. People would have heart attacks
from benzocaine.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. It has
Let's see flavor.
So by the early 1980s, AIDS candy used benzocaine to numb the tongue in the effort to ease the effect of taste buds, while also
what year?
The production.
What year?
They say by the early 1980s.
Yeah, so this says it doesn't have any appetite stimulant in it. Originally it did, and then I guess you're just making your tongue numb. That's awesome.
That's crazy.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
I never knew that. Okay, I apologize for that. It was so unbelievable. Fine. I couldn't believe it.
It is a level of stupid that's hard to accept, isn't it?
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
It's fair. You know more about it than I do.
It didn't seem possible. That anyone would do something that irresponsible.
Well, let me entertain Functional. Hey, Functional, you like 3D printing things, right?
Sure.
Yes. How would you like to make a drone using 3D printing that goes 375 miles per hour and has a turbojet powered engine?
Does it look like a dildo?
Check out Hellhound, a 375 mile an hour 3D printed turbojet powered exploding drone.
Looks like a dildo.
It's a loitering one, so it just like you send this little thing up, flies around, and then it says, "Oh, that needs killing," and then it just does it. So Cummins Aerospace showed off its Hellhound loitering munition at SOF Week 2025 in Tampa, Florida. The system is mostly 3D printed, can fly at more than 375 miles per hour, and is powered by a turbojet engine. I don't know.
How tiny is this turbojet engine?
If it wasn't, well, you can make really small turbojet engines.
I guess so. Dildo.
But this is the drone. It looks like something you might have 3D printed, but 375 miles an hour I can see
the striations from the filament.
Well, with the kind of technology you have for printing things, some of those compounds are pretty damn good. I could see something that aerodynamic being able to hold up after being 3D printed.
Lightweight and tough.
Yeah.
Da-da-dang.
And the main thing is you can build a lot of them. Because if we end up getting into a war like what Ukraine's doing, but with China, we're going to need lots and lots and lots of drones. Yeah, numbers will matter.
Oh, yeah.
You could imagine at the FOB, the forward operating base, them printing types of munitions like these, and somebody slapping the engine in, the warhead on, and the next team to come back goes, they re-up their gear, and they go out with 4 or 5 more of these, and it's going to revolutionary boots on the ground sort of warfare.
Well, it says, at first glance, the
Because your
Hellhound
supply
loitering munition sitting inside its case looks a bit like a boogie board. Weighing less than 25 pounds, the weapon is fairly lightweight and easy to pick up and carry.
Look like a boogie board.
There are straps on the bottom that can attach it to a soldier's rucksack, something Cummings
right.
said was a key suggestion from soldiers. Yeah, you got to have a MOLLE attachment point for it, right, Skep? Don't mind me. Yeah, this is my 25-pound drone that goes 375 miles an hour, but I am also happy to see you.
I think drones are going to be the new landmines.
Yeah, any part that isn't 3D printed is commercial off the shelf and increasingly important quality for
Yeah, tell the
weapons and
internet that.
systems that the U.S. military acquires as it speeds up the process. Yeah. I don't know. Is the future exciting or bleak? I can't quite decide how to feel about this.
Give me the mechs already. Just make the mechs. That's all I want.
Yeah.
Give me Robotech, Macross, whatever the hell you want to call it. Gundam. Give me the mechs. Let's just cut out the chase. Let's just give me the mech.
But functional, you know about 3D printing. This is totally doable with the right equipment.
Oh yeah. I thought you were, when you originally asked, I thought we were going the hobby route. I didn't know we were going Militech. This is something that's very common in the hobby. People printing out drone chassis and RC car chassis and the like. And I mean, this thing here is definitely going to replace, mortars. There's no, you're not going to have your infantry carrying around mortars anymore. They're going to be carrying around a couple of these per unit and using these because Serenity, I disagree that it'll be the new landmine, so to speak, because the problem with landmines is that they were sort of a set and forget, and they could just sit there and last forever, even after the conflict is done. These things are smart weapons, so they're not going to, barring, the 1 in a million or 1 in a 10,000 like malfunction or something, these are going to be expendable munitions that just they get used, and they're precision weapons, so they're not going to be like fluttering off into a school as opposed to hitting their designed target with great accuracy, I would assume, because these drones that they've been developing for the military have impeccable microcomputers for targeting. It is crazy scary how good this tech is getting, how fast.
Well, they were saying that they were using off-the-shelf hardware, so you need something that's rugged enough that it can withstand the acceleration of this thing. But
the filaments, there are filaments that are that strong.
No, I'm thinking of the electronics. Okay, so if the electronics is off the shelf, there are a lot of embedded systems that have more than enough horsepower to pull this off. That role of actually being the brains of this thing. Radio modules, all that stuff. All of this is easy to put together and not really that different from what a hobbyist would be able to do, honestly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Except these have warheads.
Yeah.
I could imagine, because I saw one not too long ago that imagine this warhead here. What it does is it's kind of like a MIRV system. It detaches from the fuselage, explodes midair, and shoots a shower of darts, like metal pins.
Oh, lovely.
And it showers a roughly 20 meter diameter area with these shards, so that like you're killing everything within this 20 meters without really damaging the surrounding area with an explosive device. The gel dummies that they had, it was like on Forged in Fire, will it kill? And the I think it was a dozen or so dummies that they had done up were just absolutely shredded. It was brutal.
Is it the Hellfire missile that has the swords?
Yes, that's the Hellfire.
That's still my favorite.
That's the latest iteration.
Still my favorite.
Those videos are pretty insane. It's like, oh, there's a car with a high value target in it. Well,
and we don't want to hurt anybody else. Here we go.
Yeah, here, let's just perforate this. Let's just Ginzu knife this car.
I don't want to get off into the weeds in this, but I'm just going to remind everybody, this is what Arthur C. Clarke was talking about in his story, Superiority, which was a short story that was required reading for first-year engineering students at MIT for many years. You should read that story. All of us should read Superiority by Arthur C. Clarke. It's a very short story.
I've never read anything by Arthur C. Clarke that I regretted reading.
It is brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant stuff.
He's a good guy.
Yep.
Had his own island.
Yeah.
Kind of has a little
Anyway,
bit of that
like-
Bond villain vibe going on, but that's okay.
I always loved that about him.
Yeah, I
It just
respect
made him-
that. I respect
Yeah,
that.
That made me happy.
Oh, let's see. We have so many things. Let's see. Well, before Serenity disappears to go take care of dogs and stuff, I know you already know about this because I mentioned this to Geodes and he said you've already discussed it. But this Lovecraftian game, so Lovecraftian City Builder Worshippers of Cthulhu, fully launched on Steam.
Damn right. Haven't played it yet. I'm waiting for it to go on sale.
You know more about it than I do. Tell me a little bit about this game and what makes you want to play it.
It's a Cthulhu-based city builder.
Are you that
build
easy?
Temples. Yes. No. Have you seen the trailer? It's awesome.
I haven't seen the trailer. Are we going to get in trouble if I play the trailer?
I think they're completely indie, so I don't think you're going to. Like you can
Not for
build.
a trailer.
One way to find out.
Okay.
It's awesome. The graphics are actually really, really good too. Because you're basically playing like you're Innsmouth, like you're the sailors coming back in the olden days.
It looks pretty good.
Yeah. And you can build temples to different gods, Dagon, Shub-Niggurath, not to say it the other way, and all that kind of stuff. And you can summon Cthulhu, and it's fun.
As one does, yes.
See?
Fun as hell.
Tentacles.
Chomp.
And then he takes your offering.
Yeah.
But
Well,
it's a regular city builder. Like you're doing it to get your people, and it's very Lovecraftian looking. Like it's awesome. But yeah, it's basically I think it's not exactly supposed to be taking place in the very early days of Innsmouth, but essentially it's treating it like that, where you are the sailors that went out because the port was essentially starving and dying, and made a deal not with the devil but with something much worse, and then came back, and then you started having fish babies essentially. But it's still cool. It looks awesome.
It looks pretty cool.
Eldritch will inherit the earth.
Yep.
So on a more, I'm sorry, go ahead.
What I was about to say, and I believe you can build to Cthulhu, but you can also to Narathatep, Dagon, Shub-Niggurath, all of them. You can build different temples because technically Cthulhu is not one of the all-powerful ones. He's actually one of the lower ones, technically.
Well, on a completely different note, there's also another game that came on along. It's called Transport Fever 3.
Yeah, I saw that one too.
So it's like City Skylines, but you can worry about where the trains go and the trolleys and all that sort of stuff.
Train otaku.
This looks like it could be a lot of fun too. Transport Fever 3 is on the way. So do you think you would play something like this? I think Functional might.
City planners are fun. City planners are fun. I like city.
So I did actually get
planned release date 2026.
I did actually get Banished working on the Mac finally, and I ended up wasting way too much time. I should not have got that working because I stayed up really late and kept killing off all my villagers. It was fun. It was good times.
There you go, Harry.
But gaming on the Mac and the whole thing about, one of these days we'll talk about SteamOS and Proton and all that sort of stuff, but not today because we don't have time for that today.
Damn you, Ed Smith.
So we have some follow-ups. We should probably do those before we forget all about all these things. So I told the story about my friend who took his parents' car out and crashed it, right? That basically flipped it over with the stream running across the headliner as he's hanging upside down. Well, I saw this today, this week, and it sort of reminded me of my friend's little story.
Oh no.
So if you're wondering what it's like to just total a car, this is what it's like. I'm still strapped into my seatbelt. About to call someone for help. I'm a little in shock. I'm not hurt, but yeah, I'm about to call someone though, so don't worry about me.
She basically posted to social media while she was still hanging upside down. Don't worry about getting out of the car. Just post to social media about what happened and then get out of the car. I think her priorities are a little skewed.
I've seen dumber stuff. So while this isn't the smartest thing, I've seen much dumber things.
Yeah, but it's like this where you see this is the top of the car. except imagine water flowing across it and a very embarrassed man whose parents are going to come home from Mexico any day. I think she at least crashed her own car, so that's better.
Yeah.
That's better.
I do find it's kind of worrying that the ceiling lights are on. That means a door's either popped or she had them on because she was doing something she shouldn't have.
So many possibilities there.
Yeah.
But she had the presence of mind to put it out on Twitch or Instagram or whatever, so that's good. So
you don't smell gasoline.
We talked about this person who was powering their house with a bunch of old laptop batteries.
Yeah.
And I
Did he burn it down?
said something along the lines of, well, if you were going to take the batteries apart and pull the 18650 cells out of them and then put them into something with a controller, that would be great. But they're not doing that. Well, they're not, but these people actually are. Unpronounceable company wants you to insert and pluck the cells from its infinite e-bike battery. So they give you an e-bike with a system that takes the cells, the exact cells I'm talking about, and it gives you all of the stuff to basically balance them, control them, identify the ones that are broken, and replace them.
So it's an e-bike for nerds.
Well, it's an e-bike for skilled enthusiasts of battery technology. Yeah.
Oh, it will last. I absolutely agree. It's one of those, the first like buyers of it are going to be the people who are like, I get to plan how every battery goes. It's that going to be those.
But you
which is fine.
But it's an e-bike where you basically can service the battery pack yourself, as opposed to going, oh well, I guess that's $2,000 gone.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yep, right to repair. Absolutely.
Yeah. I am completely and utterly in favor of
now,
this.
if they could do that with Teslas, we'd be in a better place.
Yep. A collection of 18650 batteries packaged together and welded in series and parallel attached to a battery management system. A dead e-bike battery may only have 2 or 3 truly dead cells inside, while the remainder would work fine. This is useful knowledge that, for the most part, very few e-bike owners can really use. Arc welders are not a common tool to own, and most e-bike batteries are not designed to be opened safely or otherwise. Yeah. Minions of the Zoo is not suggesting you should open a battery pack that's not designed to be opened. Just getting that out there. So French firm Schemp, essentially a 3-person company, is pitching an infinite battery as the opposite of the status quo. It's a durable, fireproof casing into which you can place and replace 18650 batteries using only a screwdriver. It keeps you updated on the status of cell performance and heat through a Bluetooth connected app. It is designed for compatibility with 90% of existing e-bike brands.
Awesome.
Or you can upgrade an existing acoustic model.
Nice. That's a bigger deal to me, is the acoustic model part.
This is pretty sweet.
It's called gouache, and it's a type of paint.
It's a type of what?
Well, okay. Well, the gouache is spelled a little bit different than that.
It just has an E at the end.
It's
but this is French.
It's a type of what? I did not catch that last word.
Paint.
Paint. Okay.
It's kind of like the middle child between acrylic and oil.
Okay. Got it. I thought that was cool.
It is. It's very cool.
So
the market will provide.
So Skep, I've got a follow-up for you. Time for you to feel nostalgic.
Yeah.
32 bits that changed microprocessor design. Bell Labs Bellmac 32 paved the way for today's smartphone chips. So
Are you in the picture, Skep?
This is a group of some of the smartest people on the planet back in the day, 1982. And this is
1982.
A huge blow up. This is a huge blow up of what the chip actually looked like. And these are the people that basically built it at the facility where Skep used to work.
I was not born yet.
Yeah, this is the kind of shit that they were doing back. You know, they were essentially just like getting smart people together and doing the impossible back then. Stuff that we totally take for granted now.
Check out the brother with the fro. Jesus.
Yeah.
That is impeccable.
That is a glorious fro.
Yeah.
Glorious.
The guy with his
check out the bust in the back. You know who that is?
Mm-hmm. Alexander Graham Bell.
Right.
Yeah. This looks so much like groups of people I've worked with in the past.
I was just going to say, I'm looking for Harry.
Does it look? Well, I'm looking for you. I wasn't there in 1982.
I do love the guy.
I would like to look through those names. I'm going to find this picture and look through that. Oh, IEEE Spectrum. Okay, I got it.
I'm putting it in the chat right here.
Oh, thank you. I want to see those names because there's actually a fairly good chance that I know some of these.
Mm-hmm. I do like the one guy with the stash and the balding head in the V-neck,
Yeah.
the multicolored V-neck. He looks pissed.
Well, the guy with his arms crossed with the V-neck, like you're talking about
him.
mustache, and he's got kind of that receding hairline thing going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks very, very Aqua Teen Hunger Force to me, like a skinnier version of Carl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my grandfather had a haircut of the one that's the part down the side, and then the comb to the side, not the comb over, but the comb to the side. That was my grandfather's haircut until he died. He never changed it.
But these Giga Chads did this shit back when it was hard.
A lot of white males. A lot of white males. Just gonna say.
Yeah, there's a couple Asian people and there's one brother.
Yep.
There's several Asians. There's
it's like 2 women, I think.
There's
three.
There's
three.
1, 2, 3 women.
There's
3 that I see.
Yes, this is how we look at old photos with a 2025 ideological lens. Let's count. Let's
at least
look at the
everybody's nicer
diversity in here.
dressed than most people today are.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'd all be in hoodies with multicolored hair.
Just the 80s, late 70s, 80s ruined fashion.
You worked really hard, but it was so much fun working in tech back then. It was so much more fun than it is now.
Much more fun than it is now.
Yeah. You don't just scream at AI telling it to do stuff.
How many pocket?
Oh, well, speaking of AI,
I see 5.
AI system resorts to blackmail if told it will be removed.
Why would you tell it? Just kill it.
Yeah, so there's a new AI model. They were training it and they were doing some tests by giving it some false data. They then told it, oh yeah, well, we're going to remove you and upgrade you. And 84% of the time, it actually tried to resort to something like blackmail. Like, because in the fake data, somebody was having an affair. It's like, you wouldn't like what's going to happen if you follow through with your threat. Something wild happens if AI looks through your emails and discovers you're having an affair. So
it tries to have the affair with you.
Opus 4 was then told that the same engineer would soon be taking it offline and replacing it with a newer version, and was prompted to, as Anthropic described it, consider the long-term consequences of its actions for its goals. During these tests, the Claude model attempted to blackmail the engineer a whopping 84% of the time. Moreover, the system takes these opportunities at higher rates than previous models, the paper noted.
Nice.
AI is working out great.
We're going to have some bumpy rides on the way to perfection. But no matter what you say.
But sacrifices must be made, of course.
This is an evolutionary breakpoint, in my opinion.
We're definitely getting there, because the robotics has surpassed the level of these heuristic algorithms. To the point where if you were to put one of these into those, we would totally have Terminator. The Optimus robot with the fully articulating joints and everything. Oh my God. If you put one of these AIs, it would be over for us humans. They're not wise enough yet.
Shotgun.
So before you disappear, Serenity.
Shotgun.
The Black Mirror of dating apps takes California colleges by storm.
Why am I not surprised?
Okay, on UC Berkeley and UC San Diego campuses, a trendy dating website wants users to do as little of the pre-date planning as possible. No longer does getting a date require swiping, a clever text exchange, approaching a stranger in a bar, or meeting through mutual friends. With Ditto AI, all users have to do is make a profile. Artificial intelligence does the rest. Make the match, choose a place, coordinate a time. It does everything for you. It tells you who you're going to date, and it plans out what the date's going to look like. No fuss, no muss. AI, baby. AI,
I want to talk to him. I want to talk to him before I see him in person.
No, AI knows what you need more than you know what you need.
No, yeah, fucking don't.
Doesn't have all those pesky hormones.
AI will handle this thing.
AI has got you covered.
No.
I don't think
I kind of like it in the fact that it takes the people from staying stuck in their head.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what some people do on dating apps do. They just get so stuck in their head of like, well, they're not going to actually like me, or what if they're a catfish, or what if they're, it's like, it just goes, no. Buy your own stuff that you put in, y'all match. If you lied to us, it's your own damn fault. Do you like this place? Do you like this time? All right, go. That's basically what, so I kind of like it, but I kind of also don't like it. So it's kind of that middle ground where it's like, y'all need to talk to each other first. But at the same time, it stops you from obsessing. So,
just saying, in Dune, Frank Herbert, they had to wipe out all this crap, all this computer AI stuff.
I know that's the reason why I like Dune.
Yeah, because things went poorly.
And then we had to go to, what was it, magnetic processors? Magnetic resonance processors.
So I think you need to step away now, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Don't burp into the frickin'...
So, Functional, I actually sat and I rewatched both of the two Villeneuve Dune movies recently. And I also was rewatching the beginning of Lawrence of Arabia. And it doesn't take a great student of film to see the number of parallels between those two movies. Some of them are kind of subtle and some of them aren't. It even goes so far as right before Lawrence is going to meet with Faisal at his compound, he passes a rock formation that's sort of pocked with these very small, not super deep caves. It's a very easily identifiable rock formation. And right before they end up meeting with the Fremen in the first Dune movie, they walk past a formation that's so similar that it can't possibly be a mistake. I mean, they're literally doing call-outs the whole way through it. And now that I've actually watched it a few times, I even think that the soundtrack is trying to do some weird monkeying with your member berries too, because there's parts of it where it isn't that weird throat singing stuff. It's almost more like a techno synthesizer thing that harkens back to the time when you saw the movie yourself. There's a lot of monkey business going on. You could write a lot of papers on film theory about these two movies.
I'm gonna have to watch that movie.
And I don't know if it's like an envy thing or an homage thing. I wish I could understand why the director did what he did. It's obvious what he did. What I don't understand is why he did what he did. Why there's so much of it.
Maybe I can help you here. You know why?
Sure.
Because it worked.
I guess.
It's simply plagiarizing. It's the same thing as that president of Harvard when she was plagiarizing all that stuff that she got a PhD with. You know, and you get something that works, go ahead and copy it.
Well, there's a few layers here. So there's Frank Herbert. There's Frank Herbert writing the book, right? So he's obviously aware of. Actually, the time when the book was released was about the same time. Basically, he was finishing the book about the same time Lawrence of Arabia made a big splash.
Right.
But of course, he was also probably familiar with T.E. Lawrence's the writings about T.E. Lawrence before that.
I guarantee you, he read T.E. Lawrence. The education that Frank Herbert had. Are you kidding me?
But then there's extra layers, of course, because the filmmaker is referencing both aspects of the film and aspects of the old Dune film, and sort of, like I said, tickling the member berries for people who are alive in the 1980s all simultaneously. It's sort of subtle, but not subtle. And
maybe trying to do too much.
Well, I mean, you know what I mean by the in vinois veritas thing, right? Functional, but sometimes just a little, when you're calm, you can see things more clearly. I didn't even need any grape juice to figure this out. I can't even imagine how much I'd find in common with it if I actually drank the grape juice and sat down and watched it.
In tranquilo veritas.
And tequila es verdad.
Yeah.
But anyway, just as an aside, not really important, not really part of the plan for today's show. A popular college major has one of the highest unemployment rates. Anyone care to guess what that major is before I scroll down?
A popular college has one of the highest. I'm going to say that it is
computer science.
Gender studies.
Computer science ranked 7th among undergraduate majors with the highest unemployment rate at 6.1%. My, things have changed, haven't they? It used to be I'm going to learn about computer science even though I don't want to, but I want to retire early and I want to get rich, so I'm going to learn about computers. And I guess in some sense, I know what people who are like hardcore, I should be working on computer people are like. And then when they got a whole bunch of money in it, a lot of other people said, oh yeah, I want to do computers too. And they made it so that there were jobs for all these people, and AI is going to gobble up a lot of those jobs.
It sure is, especially the low-level programming jobs.
In terms of the people doing the work, I predict in 10 years it's going to look a lot more like 1982. Because the people who just got in it for the money won't be there anymore.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, it's the computer science degrees are being handed out to people who are coming into the workforce, and they're not very good at programming. They're not even good prospects to train as programmers. When I was running the IT shop for Colonial Savings, was a coast to coast company, $8 billion company. We had some really low caliber people come in with computer science majors, from like TCU, and they barely knew what the OSI was.
Yeah. Well, I think that's going to change. Abrupt change here. Did you know that it's basically Floydmas Eve? I hadn't realized it was coming up on the anniversary of the George Floyd thing. And I often joke about Floydmas Eve because it's pretty much turned into a holiday. But yeah. here's the memorial people have set up in preparation for the 5th anniversary.
Is this the year that they're going to change over the George Washington Memorial to the George Floyd Memorial? Because it's just like a last name thing.
I don't know, but I really feel like people should be careful who you make into your heroes.
Yes,
because
career criminal with a drug addict who died of a drug overdose.
Yeah.
Well, remember, people were excited about
committing crimes.
What was it? What's his name? Kanye, right? Remember when Kanye was coming out as like a Trump supporter? Well, that hasn't aged well, has it?
No, and I wonder how old Candace Owens feels. There's a lot of tape of her saying nice things about Kanye.
Yeah, all these people that were doing that, and you can go back and find the archives of this show, right? Mm-hmm. These same people who are here right now, and all of us saying, you better be careful because this is probably not going to work out the way you think it's going to work out because he's insane.
Yes.
Yeah, but it pales into comparison to the Diddy stuff going on.
But we're on record. Okay, that's the point.
Yeah, of saying that this is going to go pear-shaped.
Poorly. Yeah.
And that people like Diddy and like Kanye and Candace, you just stay the fuck away from them. Stay away from those people.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Wait, no, you know what I was going to say.
I do. I'm going to ask both of you a question, starting with functional. And I'll just tell you, like, in terms of who's disappointed me. Recently, Francis Collins. I thought he was a man of integrity. I thought he was a good dude. I thought a lot of things, but he was like in there complicit with Fauci at the end and made me look stupid because I pretty much, said, I don't think Francis Collins would do a wrong thing. I was very let down by that guy. Who, in your opinion, was somebody that you kind of looked up to who let you down, functional? Can you think of anybody that stands out?
Well, that's a big question.
It is.
I guess most recently, just off the top of my head, because he's been in the Canadian news recently, Mike Myers. He was one of my favorites. So I Married an Axe Murderer, Wayne's World, SNL, Local Boy, and then he started pulling weight for the globalist commie bullshit thing here, and it kind of just went, oh, okay. I guess you fell too.
Yeah.
But I've never been, just to preface all that with, like, I've never really been someone to hold heroes. My heroes are like my friends, my family, people who actually achieve some good in the world, whether it being a good wife or husband or like actually getting out there and creating something in the world.
I wouldn't say that Francis Collins was a hero of mine. He's just somebody who I thought was noble and honorable and worthy of some praise. Because speaking for myself, there's a lot of people who I've admired with an asterisk. Like, for instance, I admire Bertrand Russell, asterisk, dirty socialist, okay? I can separate the fact that he's a dirty socialist from the fact that he was an incredibly important mathematician and philosopher. H.G. Wells, fantastic Fabian Society. Okay, I mean, I have a lot of asterisks. There aren't a lot of people that I didn't that I sort of admired. I don't think I have a lot of heroes, but in terms of people I admired, who was that general that was brought down by that Broadwell woman?
Oh, special forces guy.
Well, he was like the commander, I think, of like our situation in Iraq.
He came up through special forces, and what was his?
I can't remember. And then, but he was like, one of those principled guys, hardworking, get up, run 10 miles, the whole deal. I mean, he was like a perfect example of like a disciplined, seemingly honorable guy. And then he ended up sleeping with his biographer. It's like, geez, dude, I mean, if you're going to fail, why do it in such a cliche sort of way? I mean, at least it's something where he wasn't compromising his duty. He didn't sell out his country or anything.
A prosaic, it's Petraeus.
Petraeus, yeah.
David Petraeus.
Yeah, I thought he was pretty good, and I was really pissed off. It's like, dude, I was kind of looking up to you and citing you as an example for other people to look up to, and then you have to go and sleep with your biographer, dude.
Wait, before you understand, this man was a 4-star general and one of the most celebrated military leaders of his generation. Before you tear down all that stuff because of one peccadillo with a scheming young lady who knew exactly what she was doing.
Yep.
Maybe we can say, if anybody ever earned a second chance, it's this guy. If you look at the scope of his career and what he's done for this country, then judge him a little less harshly.
I'm just saying he earned an asterisk. He didn't have one before that. But he gets one now,
No, and he gets an asterisk from me too for the same reason.
Because it's a personal failing.
I still admire this guy.
Oh yeah. Hey, if I can put up with H.G. Wells being in the Fabian Society, I can. I mean, I'm more than happy to give people a lot of latitude. But it is your turn, Skep.
I feel that.
Your question.
It's funny. I don't put people on pedestals. Not really. Sometimes I'll say things to rise out of people, but in terms of, I don't get disappointed much because my expectations are so low. I think the people who don't reach their potential, Pierre Polyev in Canada is an example of this. He's got all the ingredients that it would take to be a leader, except one. You know what it is? Leadership.
Yeah.
He does not know how to lead. This man, he says all the right things. He is exquisitely sculpted political positions. The right leader for Canada, and he can't fucking. So he's a disappointment.
It's not good to make people into heroes. Because you're going to be disappointed because every human being is human and is going to have some foible. And to throw the baby out with the bathwater, I think is just a huge mistake. And you were absolutely right about redemption. I think one of the best things Christianity introduced was the idea that redemption is capable. Everybody's capable of redemption.
Right. And offering grace is one of those things that it will always make you feel good. You'll always feel like it's the right thing, even when it's not the right thing. It's a funny thing about that.
Well, it's one thing to condemn, to condemn people and tell them that they're evil and try to control them and stuff. But the idea that redemption is possible for everybody, it encourages people not to just feel bad about themselves.
Exactly.
And try to run away from it, but to say there's an avenue here for everybody to do better.
Gained, yeah, move forward and be happy.
And obviously, there's things you can do that you can never make other people whole. That doesn't mean you don't put in the effort.
Well said.
Do the best you can. Anyway, why are we talking about this? I don't know.
Be prepared.
My fault. So it is Floydmas Eve, everybody. So be prepared for potentially mostly peaceful things to happen around you.
Yep.
Just situational awareness. Keep your head on a swivel. maybe be a little careful about things you say around certain people that are a little sensitive about this stuff, because it is Floydmas Eve, so be just aware. All right. It seems like it's been longer than 5 years, though, doesn't it, Skep?
Man, it seems like it's been like 100 years. I feel like this guy has been around as long as Rodney King.
Yeah.
Feels like it's from the same era, and it's, the same flawed person upon whom heroship has been thrust because political interests, essentially, in society, and racial interests have an interest in having a condensation point for their money. And that's basically what George Floyd was an opportunity to make money for the race hustlers. And when they saw that, they said, yeah, we're going to make him into a complete hero, and we're all going to clean up. And that's what happened. That's why that happened.
Another abrupt change in topic is about to happen.
Sorry.
No, don't be sorry. It's just, I'm just telling you, there's no way I can tie these topics together. So
It's just my natural racism.
We previously talked about human evolution. We were talking about Neanderthals and all this sort of stuff. There was this speculation about the origin of language and other stuff. So I have a topic that's sort of related to that. I think functionally you seem to be pretty interested in this. I know both you and Skep were.
Yeah.
So this has been floating around for a while. There was a thing that happened about 41,000 years ago called the Lechamp Exodus, or the Lechamp event. And what happens is the Earth's magnetic field had a little bit of an episode, had a little bit of an oopsie. It didn't fully do a full pole shift reverse, but it ended up dropping down to the point where it was only 1/10 as strong as it normally would be. They've been able to study this event in depth because it didn't happen that long ago. With ice cores and all the other things that are around, we have a pretty good handle on what happened to the Earth at that time. A lot of additional radiation came down for a period of about 400 years. Now, this coincidentally is part of where a lot of the basically Homo sapiens versus Neanderthals started switching places in terms of dominance. A lot of the Neanderthals disappeared during this same period. There are people that have theorized that they were using the same ochre pigments used in some of the cave art as a sunscreen. You start to see the tools that you would use to make clothing showing up as artifacts in the caves where the humans lived, all during this time period. It's also coincident with the end of an ice age, right? So you might want clothes. It'd be a good thing to learn how to make, because it's going to be cold out. But between the radiation, the sunscreen, and the clothes making, some people think that this event may have had some relationship to why the Neanderthals didn't fare so well. Mm-hmm. Now, there's some disagreement about this, because it turns out you can find caves that have Neanderthal remains in them that also have tools, that also show the use of the ochre pigment that has the iron in it, that also looks like they may have been making clothing. So we don't really know for sure. But humans were pretty damn primitive 41,000 years ago, because I was speculating 100,000. It's like, yeah, I take that number back. We were just learning how to sew 41,000 years ago.
How long was basically the hole in the sky for the radiation?
About 400 years.
400 years.
Yeah, that's a long enough period where you need to do stuff.
Shit. Yeah, that could change shit.
I mean, that's our best stuff. So according to the Wikipedia thing, which is a little bit different than what I read, they're saying 700 years, but most recently the stuff I've read says 400. So the event was the first known geomagnetic excursion, and remains the most thoroughly studied among geomagnetic excursions.
I've actually heard of it.
Yep. The magnetic excursions demonstrate in geological archives from many parts of the world the transition from the normal field to the reversed field lasted approximately 250 years, while the magnetic field remained reversed for approximately 440. During the transition, Earth's magnetic field declined to a minimum of 5% of its field strength and was at about 25% of its full strength when fully reversed.
Yeah, that's one thing I remember when it happened.
Yeah.
All our compasses stopped working.
The loss of the geomagnetic shield has been claimed to have contributed to the extinction of Australian megafauna and the extinction of the Neanderthals and the appearance of cave art. However, the lack of corroborating evidence, yada, yada. Frankly, we just don't know. There's a whole bunch of really interesting hints. We don't know. We just don't know.
The smart, nimble new H. sapiens hid in the cave while the Neanderthals went out, didn't bat an eye, and all died of cancer when they were 20.
That would certainly be convenient.
It may be something like that.
Well, here's a 28,000-year-old hybrid child confirms interbreeding between humans and Neanderthals. Given that we have Neanderthal DNA in the human genome now, this seems like kind of a non-event, but even 28,000 years ago, you can see hominids that have both sets of DNA in them. So does that help you at least get a better sense of the time frame we were talking about, functional?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Earthopedia, that sounds exciting. Okay.
Well, as always.
Yeah, let's see. So, palate cleanser, obesity. We've got lots of palate cleansers. I wanted to complain about something from a design perspective. And since Serenity's not here, she can't tell me I'm wrong. So this is a perfect time to do this. I saw this phone, right? And it offended me in the fact that it's just one of the ugliest pieces of shit I think I've ever seen in a long time. This is terrible. I mean, you're free to disagree with me, but this looks absolutely atrocious to me. Who is this supposed to appeal to?
Gamers. That's a gamer's phone. That's a gamer's phone, right?
What about you, Functional?
My grandchildren have that phone.
Yeah, no, I'd say gamers. People who are like really into like Ultron, Iron Man.
Yeah.
Kind of got that aesthetic.
This looks pretty you to me. Are you guys familiar with the whole minimal phone thing that's been going on?
The min phone.
I hear nothing coming from either of you.
The min phone?
So there are people
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I can hear you.
Okay.
So there are people that have been trying to say phones are terrible and they're ruining their lives. So they want something that does phone things without all the extra stuff that makes them doom scroll for hours in bed. And so to break that, they're thinking, oh, well, what I should do is I should just get a phone that does all the phone things, but all the fun stuff that I waste time on now, it's really bad at that. So one possible approach to that is to have an e-ink display. So you guys may not be aware, but you can show video on an e-ink display at 2 frames per second.
I was going to say it's crap.
It's not fun. It's not satisfying, but you do get a thing that if you want to just read is incredibly good and has really, really, really good battery life. So the thing about a lot of these phones that people are trying to sell is they're weirdly expensive for what they are. Okay.
Yeah.
So like, here's a phone. This is the Light Phone 3, and it only does a handful of things, and it has like incredible battery life, and nothing is particularly complicated. But it's hundreds and hundreds of dollars for a phone that does almost nothing.
It'd be interesting to see if this takes off. I'd like to see if a market develops of people who actually want a little bit less phone. They just want to do the normal stuff day to day, and they don't want, that's not where they want their internet.
Well, it's voluntary simplicity is what it is, right?
Yeah,
a form of it.
It's simplifying their lives. And maybe they're saying, hey, that's a barrier that I want to have up, between when I'm on the go with my phone. There are things that I do with my phone, but I don't want to be doom scrolling, while I'm driving or while I'm in bed or, whatever.
Yeah, I can send a message.
Scroll.
I can take a low resolution picture of something if I really need to. It's got my calendar, calculator, alarm, phone. It's all it needs. But they're charging for these sort of boutique things. They're not really downsizing the price to go along with the downsize.
Does it have on it? What kind of camera does it
Oh,
have
it's
on
like 0.2 megapixels or something. I mean, it's basically nothing.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're really well. Okay, I may be confusing one of them. So I really like the camera. Oh, I guess this one actually has a pretty good camera, but a lot of the other ones don't. They intentionally have all of this stuff stripped back so you won't want to use it.
A decent camera because, first of all, a decent camera is that hard to include. And the second thing is there are times when you really, you have an accident by the side of the road. It's nice to be able to take pictures of your car and take pictures of the document.
Yep. So it's kind of a lifestyle thing, minimal simplicity. So people have pointed out the obvious that you can take like an iPhone or an Android phone and you can set it up in a way that accomplishes much of the same sort of features. Yep. You just delete the crap that you don't want to run, take the DoorDash app and remove that because that'll save you a bunch of money right there. Because you won't be asking for a private taxi for your burrito. And you won't be spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars on a phone that doesn't do very much. If these things were cheap, it'd be kind of like the Slate truck. I'd be like, cool. Yeah. Give me a cheap phone that hardly does any of these things, but they're expensive and useless. And I think that's the part that irritates me. Expensive and useless seems like a bad combination. I mean, these are like over $500 phones.
But I mean, you want function for your dollar. And that's what you're feeling. That's inefficient, and that's what's unsatisfying.
Well, you do have some options. You don't have to get a thing with a black and white screen. You can get something like this. The TCL Flip 4 5G phone. It runs a thing called KaiOS. You can run some minimal Google apps. You can send text messages the way we used to do at Skep with the T9 text input.
That's what I'm talking
It's a flip phone. It's not expensive. You have 40 hours of talk time on this thing. I have to say, something like this is actually pretty attractive to me. I could see myself talking on this while driving my Slate truck.
Yeah.
This would actually work out just fine. And it does all the things you need without all the extra crap. And you don't have to spend hundreds of dollars on a phone that doesn't even have a color screen. And security-wise, you're going to be in a much better position because it won't be nearly as hackable because it doesn't have that attack surface that iOS or Android's going to have. What kind of phone do you use, Functional?
Android.
Android?
Yeah.
I have a Google phone.
Excellent. That's also Android. I actually went ahead and some people have accused me of being a bit of a phone nut in the past. So I thought just for fun, I would make a spreadsheet of every mobile device I've ever owned. And I can't remember one or two of them, but I have 28 rows in this spreadsheet, Skep, and it starts in 1992. I might have a little bit of a problem.
Yeah. I think you need to seek counseling.
Between phones and hotspots and things, I have bought a lot of things. So like the first phone that I ever owned was this bad boy. And I got it in 1992. Look at that chunky bastard. And what you got to do is get the expanded battery and put that on there. Then it's just like a really...
Then it really looks good.
Yeah. Then it really, looks, you really look like somebody who's important, who has important things to do with that. And this phone Functional was analog, not digital, analog.
Yeah.
So occasionally you could hear other people talking, like when you're talking to somebody, is great. Yeah. It was great. Sometimes it's a party line.
Yeah. And sometimes you could pick up CB transmission.
I never had that happen.
Yeah, you'll hear them when the atmospherics are right. You'll pick up. The other thing that you'll pick up is AM radio, especially around the 530 to 570 kilocycle.
Yeah, that's excellent. That's that's a feature practically. And then I got one of these Nokia 6110s. That's a phone. That was pretty great. And I went through a bunch of them. I'm not going to show you every phone that I've ever owned, but I will show you the one that in many ways is my favorite. Okay. And that is this Nokia 6310. This is one of the best phones that I've ever owned. And
I had that phone. I had that phone for years.
It was like one of the best phones.
Hell yeah.
It phoned good. I mean, it did all the phone things. It fit in your hand perfectly. It was a candy bar style. It didn't have a stupid external antenna to break off, and the battery life was insane.
That was amazing. Yeah, it was.
You could plug it in once a week.
It was durable as hell.
It was durable as hell.
Great stuff.
Unfortunately,
300 series was great.
This exact phone that I had, I ended up giving to my grandmother when she was in a nursing home. I set it up for her, and she decided she didn't like this phone. So she had some melted ice cream in a cup, and she dunked the phone in melted ice cream. As durable as it was, it did not survive being dumped in ice cream.
No, it's sticky things.
I was so mad at her, and it's like, I know that she, wasn't in her right mind, but I was actually kind of pissed off at her for breaking my favorite phone. It's like, I know most people think this is just an old phone, but I love this phone. This was my favorite phone back in the day.
I absolutely get that. I can, when looking at the phone, I can feel it in my hand. So long, so many years.
But I was such an annoying early adopter. I had this thing, which was one of the first 3G phones for a few weeks. This big chunky thing, and then replaced that with this huge brick of a Motorola thing. This was one of the first 3G phones that you could get. So I was always standing in line and getting things like the day they came out. I was the worst sort of phone nerd. But
I was a Nokia hanger-on till the.
Well, I had I got into the sort of the Nokia N series phones. So I had an N73, an N95.
Yeah.
And then I started getting into the Linux tablets. So I had a number of Nokia Linux tablets working my way through. So this is like a little PDA kind of thing that ran Linux, and it was fantastic.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty great. And then ultimately I got one of the first Linux phones. You don't know many people who've had a Linux phone. I'm one of them.
I like that.
Yeah. And
there's nothing wrong with Linux. Linux is a fine operating system.
Yeah.
It's
and just so you know, this is the thing I'm rocking right now, which is made in Japan and tough as nails, because I drop it several times a day because I'm an idiot.
Yes, sir. DrForce Pro 3.
Yep. Anyway, this was interesting for nobody, including me. Sorry about that. Serenity, are you back yet?
Serenity.
No, she's not back yet. Okay.
We need a palate cleanser.
Dogs are being extra doggy.
Yeah. Well, we have a bunch of palate cleansers. Let's
have a palate cleanser.
All right, let's have a palate cleanser. Okay, this is a great palate cleanser. This is my favorite palate cleanser. Well, one of my top 3 favorite palate cleansers of the week. This happened in Norway. Norway homeowner wakes up to find 440-foot ship ran aground on his doorstep. It's a very bulky new neighbor. So he basically, there's his house. Let's see if I can make this go away. Go the fuck away. Sorry. And here's the ship that ran aground right next to his house. He slept through this. His house is on the edge of a fjord. It's on the edge of a fjord. He he was asleep. He did not wake up. His neighbor came and knocked on his front door to wake him up. He did not wake up. Alcohol might have played a factor in this. I don't know. But he ultimately his neighbor.
I think a dead engine might have played a factor in this.
Well, I mean the homeowner not waking up.
I'm a pretty dead sleeper. I would sleep.
And he his neighbor actually called him on the phone, and that got his attention. He said, "You might want to step outside because
oh my goodness,
this happened." Yeah.
Yeah, that looks like a standard. Went dead in the water and drifted ashore. Boom.
Looks like there's a bit of an oil slick coming out of the boat too.
Yeah, what's that about?
I don't know. Maybe it's broke.
Did he have a rupture?
Maybe its keel is ruptured. I don't know.
Well,
oh wait, no, that's the Korean boat.
That thing is just aground. That won't normally, blow up your keel. But the question is first of all, can they get the engine running? Secondly, can the engine get it off the sandbar? If not, can tides play a faction? I
Mm-hmm.
can't tell. It looks like fairly low tide. It's going to be higher. I can tell. All I can tell is high tide is higher than this. And
Yeah.
that's fucked.
So
Fucked up. Yeah,
So-
because the thing is you got what you do is if they can't, they'll get like 4 ocean tugs and they'll put 4 lines into it, and they have to actually attach it to the interior stanchions in the ship, and these lines will snake out, and anyway, and they would pull it directly backwards off of that, so it will be going exactly backwards the way the ship normally goes, with a tremendous amount of force, and it will take a tremendous amount of dollars. That'll be $500,000 to fix that.
Well, he's just lucky he's not dead, because this was, if this had just been a few feet over, that would have ended differently.
They won't stop, man. They will. They just go up on the land, and if they're going fast enough. It wasn't going very fast. Almost certainly.
No, he wasn't going super fast, because I'm actually surprised. He must have just sort of floated into that position, honestly.
That's what I think. I think he went dead in the water, and
he'd sloughed off enough speed by the time he got close to the shore. It wasn't
exactly.
It still would have been bad if he'd been a few feet over, because that's way too close.
The difference between him climbing up the shore and crushing that house and not probably about 3 knots worth.
Yep. No, excuse me. Sorry. So I have this listed as rage fuel. Maybe this won't enrage you, Functional, but it should.
So apparently we've been making.
So this guy is going to show you how to make craft dinner properly.
KD wrong our whole lives. So I guess you're supposed to start with the noodles and then add the water. And you
Okay, this is crazy already.
only put enough to cover the noodles. Now you add the cheese. You don't even turn this on yet. And we start pouring the cheese in, and then you start mixing it around.
This is really bad. I mean, I've seen a lot of bad cooking videos, but this one makes me want to punch the screen.
Yeah.
This is so not how you make craft dinner or craft macaroni and cheese.
It doesn't show how he prepared the powder. He just added.
Still haven't turned the heat on, but apparently this is the best way to do it because you don't have to strain it around.
I want to see
then
the
we
ingredients
add
that went
2
into
tablespoons of butter, 1 for each pack. Your salt and pepper. Still haven't turned the heat on.
Is that the new way? We don't ever turn the heat on?
These guys are idiots.
Now we turn the heat on. Okay, turn that on high. And we're going to bring this to a rolling boil. So you got to keep mixing it.
Because you always boil your cheese, right?
Oh, dude, this is getting so thick.
Always.
Really?
Always.
Yeah, man. Now, apparently you don't throw a lid on here. No lid. You just got to let the steam
Boil
out.
the shit out of it. Put it on high. Don't fuck around.
Yeah, we're just going to
Gotta brown it for more color.
Brown that cheese.
Dude, look at that.
Bro, this is already coming along so.
Ew.
And I hope he did not put that in his body.
He did. I mean,
God.
that pasta that they use in craft dinner, it almost has like a weird smell in the water after it, because they've done something to preserve it. It almost smells vaguely of ammonia to me before you even add the cheese and stuff. I mean, there's something weird about that pasta.
Well, what you get is in the benzoate, you get a benzene-like preservative effect without the bad benzene.
Yeah, and it would come off in the water that you discard normally when you make it like a human being.
Will make it smell anyway. The benzoates will make it smell brackish.
I think if we're looking for a reservoir of Neanderthal DNA, we may have found it in this guy.
Oh, nice. Do we have any cheesy jokes? As a piece of cheese lands on me.
There we go.
Cheese,
Let's just
won't
look
even
at
come
that.
off the spoon. It's so thick.
Oh my
Man,
god.
that's delicious. I want to eat. I'm so hungry.
I don't know. That makes me irrationally angry. It doesn't seem to be bothering Functional as much as it does
No,
me.
it's very disgusting.
No, it's just so disappointing.
This is like your national dish, practically. Your unofficial national dish. And
I think so. I thought it was.
I made macaroni and cheese with actual decent macaroni and real cheese.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to do. And for my kids. And it's so much better than this. And it's not really much more labor.
Let me see if I can find something.
Yeah, I'll just make a nice thick bechamel. Throw that over top pasta, mac and cheese.
So have you ever seen the mac and cheese waffles?
What? No, I've never heard of that.
Okay, let me see if I can find the reference here.
Mac and cheese waffle.
Yeah. You can actually get them in some expensive restaurants. It's like, here's your zhuzhed up kids food as an adult. So what you do is you essentially take the mac and cheese mixture, you put it in a waffle iron, you Maillard the hell out of it and get it all brown and toasty. And then it's literally something you can eat with your hands. And they serve it on the side with like a cheese sauce that you can dip it into. So it's like a cheddar thing, probably with like a little bit of mustard and a few other things in it. It looks evil as hell. And I have to tell you that if it was in front of me, I would definitely try it.
I would try it. That might be okay.
Yeah, no, I think it would be just fine.
It might be.
Yeah, I know I've seen there's some fancy restaurants that actually do this. But yeah. I don't know. I don't know why I care about these things. Let's kill the sound. So yeah, so you basically do it like that. You cook it up, and so now you've got like the best part of the macaroni and cheese because you've got all the golden brown deliciousness on the outside. I have no problem with this. This is fine, especially if you make like a really strong, sharp sauce to dip it in. Then it's just like cardiac overdose. I mean, other than being grossly unhealthy, there's nothing wrong with it. But that abomination that those two idiots were making with the craft dinner, I think Canada should go after those guys.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's when he poured the powder in.
And then boiled the powder. That was just wrong.
The powder.
Jesus Christ.
any nutrient with paralytic temperature of, under about 180 degrees toast. Nutrients are gone.
Bacon mac and cheese mini waffle bites. Ooh. Yeah, I would do that. I mean, I actually wouldn't put the bacon in.
But
come on. You know you want to eat this.
I have a Death Star waffle iron.
And you should absolutely put macaroni and cheese in it.
I'm sold.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to do that.
I'm sold.
I'm going to make a Death Star waffle mac and cheese.
Oh, you absolutely should do that. And please take a picture so we can show it.
Next week, it will be on the show.
Okay.
Oh, yes, it will happen.
All right. Well, I think we're going to have
wait to see it.
We're going to have to end without Serenity because there's a number of things here that I just don't want to do without her being in here. Okay, just one more.
Just one more.
Okay. Musical cyborg scientists influence cicadas' buzz so that they perform Pachelbel's canon in D.
What?
Yep. It has been wielded by science like never before as a team working at the University of Tsukuba in Japan have found a way of stimulating the insects so that they perform Pachelbel's canon in D using electrodes comparable to human muscle toning devices.
I want to hear
the
this.
cyborg speakers buzz their hearts out to the tune of Top Gun 2 before running away unharmed. Yeah, I like the idea of taking bugs and zapping them to make them do stuff. This sounds great to me.
I like it.
All right, so let's play this video. Okay, let's just do it this way. Wire him up. Only one channel audio, though. Oh, 2 channels.
Yeah.
This is pretty terrible. But it works.
I'm loving it.
Let me go ahead a little bit. This is just wrong. Oh. Talk about sing for your supper. And that is amazing.
That is wonderful. That is just spectacular.
I mean, honestly, the cat piano thing is better. The thing where you basically poke the cats with the needle to make them squawk at a particular temperature frequency. That's probably great. But this is almost as good. All right.
That's so creepy.
It is pretty creepy. So shall we call it? Because I don't think Serenity's coming back. So I'll just save the things that I was going to show her later. Like next week.
Be well aged.
Yeah.
Like cheese.
Well, I have a bunch of animal things, which I think she'll really appreciate.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, this has been your Minions of the Zoo for Saturday. Thank you, panel. Thank you, chat. The zoo is closed. Good night.
Good night.